In record time, the diehards are now out in force about this XEN Crypto, and I didn't expect them to respond this fast. It doesn't surprise me with 40,000 holders. What really surprises me, or I guess disappoints me, disappoints is probably the better way to state it. What disappoints me is that I even went to the trouble of front loading the way I need you to interpret my coverage, and these people still don't get it. That right there tells me cult. I'm going to bottom line it to any of the diehards who hear this message. When you do that, you are acting like a cult because you're not listening to what I tell you is the truth that you can see yourself. I'm going to repeat my standards one more time, this time somewhat slower so that you can consume it, and I expect that you do. Otherwise, you're free to ignore Leicester at cryptotalkradio.net. I encourage you to ignore all you care. I don't care. If you're going to listen, you need to listen to all of it and absorb it and process it. And yes, I understand. It's difficult in this world of people being distracted by cell phones where you're not listening when somebody tells you something to be the truth and you're not seeing it for yourself. And it might be that you don't care. Your response to me is that you don't care, not that it's wrong. Nothing in what I said is wrong. You can verify it for yourself, but there's a couple of things that you need to understand. I'll just straight say one more time for the gallery. It is critical you listen to the totality of what I say to you and absorb it. And at bottom line, the bullet list has not really changed. I may have a different order, same items. Number one, you should not come in here within your mind an assumption that I must be wrong. That's a fallacy. That's called confirmation bias. You're coming in here already in defense mode as opposed to simply absorbing what somebody shows you to be the truth that you can see yourself, which is why I cover based on what I see, because you can go and see it yourself to be the truth, and I expect you to do so. How you respond to that truth is your total prerogative. Your prerogative. I celebrate your right to ignore Leicester, cryptotalkradio.net, and FOMO and do anything you want to do. Great. But you should not come in with an assumption I'm right or wrong. That's faulty. That's confirmation bias. You should come in genuinely interested to hear a different perspective than the bias that's set in your mind. Don't come in here already in defense mode because I am going to call you out. That's number one. Number two, I challenge everyone to go and do their own research based on what I share. And again, you'll see the same thing I'm seeing to be the truth, and I can't explain why it is, but there are certain fundamental things outside the crypto bubble that are kind of taken for granted, and I will call those out as necessary because that's the coverage that I do. Many of you may be new to the channel. I'm now educating you how my channel works. I'm not the let's fucking go to the boo. I'm not the it says cut editing crap. I'm very grounded, very level. I don't do ads because I'm not trying to shill you or pitch you, and I clearly explain the way the swag works. Your obligation only is to take my information, do your own research, look at it yourself, make your own decision. You are free to ignore Leicester at cryptotalkradio.net all you care to. Let's get into the one that came up so far. There's a couple, but they weren't nearly as bad as this one. This one's pretty dang brutal. Law4625 says, and I've got to go line by line. I expect that their English is not their first language, which is okay, but it means I'll have a difficult time understanding what their real problem is. The bottom line is they clearly did not listen to what I said at all. And I'm going to call this person out because it's a learning opportunity for everybody who watches my show. Quote, you are totally wrong by all due respect. I don't know what that line means. First of all, totally is spelled wrong. Second, I don't know what you mean by wrong by all the respect. Respect is not a right or wrong condition. I'm not sure what you're saying. Quote, about websites, the first is the website and second is the Mint server. You didn't listen to what I said. If you listen to the audio without coming in with bias, you'd have heard me say, the nice, beautiful website that I saw has a button that says, go to the tool, and I even talk through that it's a very visually friendly experience for minting this, and that's on the main site, thus negating the need for the second. If the second is the Mint server, why do you have the first? If the first is calling the Mint server, why do you need the second? In a usable situation for people outside the crypto bubble. And if you listen to me, I said you should have one site and then link to one experience to do the work. Having two different sites is confusing to people outside the crypto bubble. I also called out that Mr. Levin said, well, we don't keep this site up to date, And I said, that's a concern because everybody else in the known world outside the crypto bubble has no problem keeping their site up to date. So I will hold you accountable to the fact that your site is confusing to the layman investor. Quote, Zen and Heck, I don't know what Heck is. I don't know what that is, are two completely, spelled wrong, different projects. Never did you hear me say otherwise. I even called out the differences in Zen and the differences in Hex read directly from their FAQ. I'm not sure where you got the impression that I said anything contrary to this to say that they are the same project. In fact, me reading from the FAQ was reaffirming that they are different fundamental projects as described by the developer. All I said was, I don't know enough about, I assume you meant Hex as in X, not C. I don't know enough about Hex to confirm or deny what I was told, which is all over the frickin' web, and you can see it yourself, that people swear that Zen is a copy of Hex. I said I can't say it is or isn't. Here's what they say that it's not, and the differences between the two. So why are you coming back at me saying that it's different projects? I already said that. What are you trying to say? Quote, minting working perfectly on PC. No, it's not. What you're doing is you have a plugin in your browser, which I said likely would work fine. You didn't listen to the experience I was doing. The experience I was doing is you go to the site, it presents a barcode, and you scan it from a mobile device. That's not what you're doing. You're using the browser plugin. If you were listening to my audio, I told you the browser plugins have security issues because MetaMask openly admitted they track your IP address and are proud to violate your privacy. You're not listening. What I said is the problem. The problem is I should be able to scan that barcode from my phone and everything should work, and it does not. I can't say why it doesn't. All I can tell you is they're so far one of very few sites that don't work. I'm sorry, Everrise's works, Angie's works, Libero's works, Thorium's work. So no, I don't accept when you tell me it's, quote, working. You're working under a browser plugin. I told you that's likely the case. That's not what I tested. You need to listen to what I said. And then you're free to try to copy what I did, but you need to listen first. Quote, what's that stupidity? Well, I don't know. I assume he meant stupidity. That's completely spelled wrong. With body language, I told you in the audio to go and do a search for body language around excessive blinking. Here's what, I'll spell it out for you. You pull up the search engine of your choice. I don't care which one you use, and you type in body language with excessive blinking. That's your call to action. You see what it tells you, which is the same thing I told you to be the truth, which is when people excessively blink, it usually means they're hiding something. This isn't coming from me. You can search it yourself, and I told you to do so. Quote, you didn't practice at all, apostrophe butchery. Practice what? I can't practice anything. There's nothing to practice. Practice what I preach. I did practice what I preach by doing the swag. I don't know what you mean by practice. Quote, I mint, claim share, transfer on exchange, sell, buy, everything works perfect. Great. Because of your browser plugin, everything works great. As I said in the audio, likely it would work if you violated your privacy using these unsecure plugins. And I told you, if that's what you want to do, great. I simply recommend that you secure and remove those rights through the Everrise ecosystem. I was kind enough to look out for you. I didn't tell you not to do it. I didn't tell you it wouldn't work if you used this unsecure plugin. I said it doesn't work using a mobile device scanning the barcode, and it doesn't work with the repeated tasks. I don't know why. Now, I don't use MetaMask because, as I said twice now, MetaMask violates your privacy, and I don't support it, and I call that out because I like to keep people safe. Quote, nothing is quarantine on crypto. I don't know what that means. Quarantine of what? What are you asking? What are you saying? I have no idea what quarantine has to do with anything. Are you saying guarantee? Guarantee doesn't have a Q in it. So I'm assuming it's guarantee. If you're saying nothing is guaranteed, that's not quarantine. I have no idea why you use the word quarantine There's no similarity to guarantee other than the way that it somewhat sounds. But then I don't know. I'm assuming you meant guarantee. That's a Chewbacca defense. You're saying, well, nothing's guaranteed. Deep, deep, deep. No, the bottom line is the swag simply calls out what I see. And if you listen to the audio carefully, you'd have heard me tell you there's no financial risk I see. You are free to jump in it. I don't see that you lose any money. I just don't necessarily trust it, but maybe you get something out of it. I straight said that. So guarantee of what? What are you defending against? Nothing. You're just overly defensive because you came in defensive instead of listening to what I said, which are very reasonable statements made. Quote, future will show if Zen will be successful, I assume they mean successful, or fail, who is wrong and right. Future of what? You can use it now, allegedly. I said that in the audio. Apparently, there are people that have used it because it's 40,000 holders. So apparently, those people are fine. I see traffic on the centralized exchange. So apparently, they were able to get something and they're able to buy and sell it. And I said in the audio, it's probably okay. I'm saying that the code not working the way these other tools work is a risk to me, but there's no financial risk. So if you want to take the chance, go ahead. All I said was make sure you secure your wallet because I have no idea what will happen. Saying about the future and all the has nothing to do with the swag. I didn't say not to do it. I didn't say avoid it. I said make your own mind up. I don't frankly care. I was asked to cover it, and I gave coverage of the things that you yourself can see to be the truth. You just don't care. Great. That's the only response I should see from you in comments. I see what you said. I see the same things you said. I don't care. I'm going to FOMO off this. Great. Do so. I celebrate you. I respect you. Quote, my opinion, Jack Levin is a genius and an honest person. A genius based on what? A genius based on a token that just lets you mint and receive it and then sell it on the free market. Do you understand that other tokens have done the same damn thing? Do you understand that there's nothing highlighted in anything I saw that is dramatically different than any other token that's really out there? The only thing that's really different here is the way the guy talks. The way the guy talks and the way the guy does not do any eye contact whatsoever, and your refusal to understand body language tells me you just don't care that you might be getting duped. I don't know if you're getting duped or not. I said the body language normally talks to a person who is hiding something. I don't know if he is, and I don't know what he is. The body language doesn't really lie. And I'm sorry, if we were dealing, let's take away technology. If you were dealing with somebody face to face, and I know that certain people might be afraid of this. If you were talking to somebody face to face and that person refused to look you in the eye for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a stretch, they refused to look you in the eye. At no point did they look in your eye. You're telling me that you're perfectly kosher with this and you trust that person. If we're dealing with somebody who's going to take money from you and presumably offer you something, and they're looking down or looking at anything else, looking at their phone, I know we're in a world where looking at your phone is kind of a given. Instead of respect and actual eye contact and proper communication, by the way, proper spelling when you write something, I know that we're in a different era. I get it. And maybe you're young. Eye contact is critical. It's a skill that actually would help you in like a business context. We're talking about crypto investments. Crypto investments should be a serious business. Serious business, if you want me to take you seriously, I expect you to look me in the eye because that's telling me you respect me and you're not trying to lie to me. Because yes, I want to be able to look you in the eye as normal freaking human beings do. Quote, you can invite him and solve all your skepticality. There's no such word as skepticality. Are you meaning skepticism? Perhaps. It's not about skepticism. I said there's something weird here. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's nothing. All I can say is off the body language. I've always said any token project that wants that smoke is free to come on the podcast and talk with me about it. We did that with HODL token. And it was fine. No problem. I have no problems talking to any token project. It's not going to change the fundamentals that are there, but I would ask him, tell me why you don't do eye contact with people. Tell me why you don't do these things. Tell me why you have the two sites. Tell me why. These are tough questions, and I understand that, and I don't expect him to respond. I'll tell you this much. This idiot, poof hair, Sam Bankman-Fried, went on a tour and went on everybody's show. And he was looking down and looking at everything else, but he wasn't excessively blinking in what he was doing. And there were points that he actually made eye contact. So now I got to look at the contrast here. I got one, and Richard Hart, who is part of this conversation. Richard Hart will look you directly in the camera when he's talking. I have no point that he's trying to lie, Richard Hart, but maybe he is. I don't know. I'm saying that I have a little bit more respect for Richard Hart because he'll look you dead in the eye, right? Instead of what this guy's doing where he's just looking down. I'm sorry. I am a grown up. I expect you to do eye contact because if you don't, I think you're hiding something. I don't know what he's hiding. Maybe he's hiding that he's in the closet. I don't know. I don't care. I call it to attention so that everybody else listening to my show can make their own mind up about what they think about the project, even to include possibly ignoring Leicester at cryptotalkradio.net. All of these are viable options. I present it as a service. Your job is to take what I say with no bias, with no pre-notion, not coming in thinking I'm wrong, not coming in thinking I'm right, not walking away thinking I'm wrong or right, walking back with information that you go and you look and you'll see the same thing to be the truth, and then how you interpret it, that's how you interpret it. I don't care. White paper PDF is visible to everybody. I never said it's not. I said the white paper has grammatical errors, just like in your comment, and you didn't even bother to listen to that snippet. You didn't even bother to listen to it because I straight said there are grammatical issues in the white paper, and they called it a light paper inside the document. That's fine. I didn't criticize the content of what he said. I said that it's got grammatical issues inside the white paper. I didn't say anything about not visible, visible. I don't even know where you got that from. And my summary thoughts on this, it is crystal clear, not crystal blue persuasion, but crystal clear. You didn't even listen to the audio. You came in on defense mode. That's cult. That's what that is. You're in the cult. I celebrate your right to be in the cult. I celebrate your right to be a cult follower. I celebrate your right to blindly follow a cult leader. I don't care what you do with your money or your time. I don't. When you come to this channel, it is so dramatically different than anybody else out there because I'm a podcaster, not a YouTuber. And you got to come with an open mind because I'm going to be saying things you've never heard anybody else say because I don't look at it with the bias of greed. I don't care. It's there for people that like that. That's cool. And there's certain ones I like. That's my fave five. Certain ones I avoid. It's pretty much everything else. That's how I roll. You are free to roll how you want. You are free to support cult. You are free to support the cult leader. And I'm on the verge because of your message, Law 4625. I'm on the verge. If I get more like this, I will call Mr. Levin cult leader 2.0 because this is worse than Saitama at this point. This that I'm getting is worse than Saitama. The fact that people are immediately defensive when I said nothing of any negative about the project and even went to the degree of saying there's no financial risk, so have at it. And people are still defending, like you're defending nothing. You're defending nothing. You're defending anybody that doesn't just flow with the group think. Let me bottom line. Leicester will never group think cult. Leicester will never support cult, and Leicester will never flow with the group think. That's not how I roll. That doesn't work for me, brother. So I appreciate the comment. I appreciate all comments. I welcome any token project that wants that smoke. I would ask very difficult questions. I will expect eye contact. If I don't get it, I'm going to have my own conclusion. You are free to then ignore me. I welcome you to ignore me because it's not what you want to hear. You don't want to hear the truth. You're ignoring the truth. You're blind to the truth. You're in the cult. That's a cult narrative. Saitama already went through this crap. They went through the cult narrative and it was harder for them to recover. Now they're struggling because the cults never win. Cult Dow is struggling because the cults never win. And I don't know what it'll take. And I know many of you may be new to my channel, and that's great. Welcome, by the way. But the cult doesn't work. You should not support cult mentality. You should have an open mind in your investment strategy. People will say things that you may not like to hear. Your job is to be critical of your thoughts, because it's challenging what you believed. It's challenging it from a different perspective, one that's outside the crypto bubble. When you're in the crypto bubble, everything makes perfect sense. When you come at it from outside the crypto bubble, all of a sudden things become clear, crystal clear, what the flaws are to entice money outside that bubble, not the 10% who's already in it, who's wash trading amongst tokens. I don't care about them. I care about the other 90 some odd percent that's afraid of cryptocurrency because of cults like this is being presented from you as you're presenting a perspective that is a cult narrative. That's what they fear. And they're not going to give us any more money as long as your reactions are what they are. Until we get to a grown-up response and communication where you are open to something that challenges your narrative, we will never get more money in cryptocurrency, which means it'll never succeed. And I will tell you straight up, I will not allow anybody to stop me from making the money I know we could. So I will not stop doing the swags that I do when it's asked. And people just need to ultimately get tough skin and deal with it, because it's not going to change. I am a straight shooter in the world of sensitivity. If you bothered to listen to this one, you'll have heard me not insult you at all, other than the fact that I believe you're acting like a cult member, because that's how you come across. You're in defense mode and didn't listen to anything I said. That's a cult, because you don't even care. And I celebrate you not caring. You should ignore, not come with improperly spelled, inaccurate, not even listen to audio responses that are just defense mechanisms that make you look idiotic. I don't want you to make yourself look idiotic. Why bother? Just ignore me and go somewhere else and go to whatever shill channel that's hyping up Zen as the next big thing. Go ahead and do that. All I ask you, come back and give my credit. If it turns out I was right all along and I was telling the truth that you saw, if something goes south with Zen, you come back and give my credit for calling it and you didn't listen and you didn't understand and you were totally blind and totally defensive. I want you to reconcile that. I want you to accept when you get it wrong, if you get it wrong. If I get it wrong long term, you'll see me do a follow-on coverage calling out that I was wrong. I haven't been proven wrong yet because not enough time has passed. It's still newish as a project. Frankly, it may thrive or it may not. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency. Nobody's going to recognize that beauty outside of the 10% that's already wash trading that's in there. I don't care about them. I care about the other 90. And you get the other 90 by acting like an actual business, full throttle, and start with actual eye contact, because guess what? Elon Musk will look you dead in the eye even if he's lying to you. Eye contact is vital. It is a key. You don't care, say you don't care whether you're being lied to, and let's leave it at that.